Okay, so we have Ben Reid. As with other candidates, I can give you 2 minutes when I get my phone. You've got 2 minutes to make a speech to the audience and tell us why students should vote for you to be VP Activities. And start when you're ready.
So, my name's Ben. I'm third year sports science, and I'm currently on the committee for both Relative to American football, and I've also been part of drama for the past 3 years as well. So, yay drama. So, I'm more experienced in both sports and societies. I'll say I'm passionate about both sides, so I want to try and make sure that they are the best that they can be at UCLan. Within these roles as well, I've been on the sports development committee, so I've experienced in the higher up stuff as well, running the clubs, so I feel that I would be good with stuff like that.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll now start with a question. So, what do you think are the barriers faced by students in engaging with union activities, and how will you overcome them? And like with all of the candidates, you've got a minute to give your response.
So I think one of the main barriers right now is actually access to it. In a recent NUS survey regarding disabled students, it was found that 43% of them wanted to actually get involved. However, most of them found that access was not available. So one of the main things we want to try and change is with the shuttle bus, try and make sure that it's wheelchair accessible, because currently it's not. That'll allow a lot more participation in everything. Also working with the master plan to make sure all the rooms around the union are accessible as well. So lifts, openable doors, to make sure that everyone can be involved as best they can and be engaging with the union as best they can as well.
Very concise answers.
I try.
Okay, so we've got some time for questions from the audience. Let's start with, there was a pre-asked question. What will you do to help the clubs that are harder to run due to safety costs, such as the kayaking and mountaineering clubs?
So regarding that, I think one of the key issues is actually the financial side. So one thing I want to make sure that all clubs are aware of all the funding available from the student union, whether that be through grants, bills, or external sources. So through stuff like Club England grants and other local ones, to try and make sure that they have as much access to funding as possible. Also, what I want to do is try and set up termly meetings to actually identify what the major problems are. So if they are regarding like actually instructors or something like that, they might need quite a niche one to find out where you can actually source them from and how they can either come to UCLan or how we can get those teams to UCLan to make sure that they can partake as best they can.
We've had a few more questions from the audience. A couple of them are quite similar, so I'm going to amalgamate them. So there's a slight argument about sports teams being represented more than societies. How would you bring societies into the limelight?
So, as I said before, I've been involved in both sports and societies, so from a society point of view, I do actually agree with that statement, I'd say. What I try and make sure they do is make sure that on councils and in discussions regarding them, they are involved just as much as sports teams. What I'd like to do also is try and have Tony meetings to decide where these problems are, what these issues are, and how we can actually resolve them. And also what I want to make sure is they have as much attention as the sports teams. So with regards to media, when they have certain events on, if they have plays coming up, events, other tournaments, to make sure that we use the media outlets that are available, like the Twitter, the Instagram, issue activities, to make sure they advertise as best they can be as well. And then also regarding the actual sports societies fair, I want to make sure that it's pushed as much as it can be, especially with Refreshers Fair as well, because these are easy times that members can be introduced to all societies, because there's so many out there that you can have. It's amazing. You can have from bar society to literally anything you can imagine. The community society, so many opportunities that they can do. So when they get the access media, then I believe that they can be just as good as us.
Question for our VP Activities candidate. How do you aim on working alongside the media?
So as I said before, we've got so many great platforms for media, from Pulse Radio, Pulse TV, and also on Twitter Facebook pages. So what I want to try and make sure that we do is make sure that all the club societies have set up within, so they can produce their own social media, stuff like that. So that again would come in with the meetings that I was trying to have, to make sure they're aware on how to use it as effectively as possible, make sure they can make sure that they can reach as wide as possible, and also what I want to try and do as well, as said before, make sure they get advertised as best they can on the websites, and Twitter, stuff like that, to make sure that even the students that might not be as active inside the union will see it further away, because the power of social media is amazing right now. The amount of people you can reach just for one tweet or one Facebook post. So to make sure that they have the access to this, and will help them develop and make sure that they can be the best they can.